And we like know like these systems are here, why they are here, and like how they came here. But like it's 2018, we have to change things because like
We have to reclaim our past.
no one else is going to do that except us.
What happens when you put Mr. Commitment Issues with the jokester, the mixologist, the pretty boy? This is Voice to Men. So today's topic will be culture and politics. So let's get into it. How would you guys define blackness?
Flavor. It means you come in with something, You come in with black. I don't want to say anything else is bland, but when you hear blackness, you're not coming with the regular. There's some extra when you hear blackness. No matter what it is, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, I hear blackness, something a little extra is coming with it.
I can agree. I would just say blackness is just different, or more so, we trendsetters almost in a sense. Like
I think. I mean, you take black, and then you take. I think when we speak of blackness, we think of like the culture. We think of like the identity. I think it's like on a strong sense of that. So like, I feel like people can be black but don't identify necessarily with like blackness and like that kind of in black culture and like the things that kind of like surround like the black experience. So I think those can be like two different things, but also like can also be the same thing at the same time.
Do you think that you cannot be black enough?
I feel like the black experience is like mad different for everybody. And I don't like there's like a majority like black experience where like we listen to like hip hop music and the culture. Like the culture is just like there, but there's also like black people who like I don't know listen to country and do weird shit. But like they're still considered like I think they're still black. But, like, I don't necessarily, like, feel, like, I don't know. I feel like that's, like, a personal thing if you really...
Yeah, definitely other people can think you're not black enough.
Yeah.
But, like, to yourself, you are who you are, It's not really even a problem for you. Like, your blackness is your blackness. You don't have to live a certain way to you don't qualify for blackness, I mean,
you qualify.
Biologically you do,
like,
but like in personality and how you act,
You know what I'm saying?
Black can be anything. You can be any type. Like
right, there's no one definition for
you.
Like,
Yeah, you born a black person. You don't have to live a certain way to achieve blackness.
But like, how do you feel when people say like black people say like, oh, your black card revoked or something like that? Like, what does that mean?
Well, people say that because you be wildin'. I feel like if people say
you're wildin', or
no, if people say black card revoked, I think it got to be some extensive
kind
of thing.
I don't know. I heard people say just because you don't like certain rapper,
And that's like wow.
Yeah.
I think that's
not
still
valid.
stupid. I think
Like that's not valid.
Yeah, I feel like there's no like there's no limit to like how black you can be, but like there's definitely like you can definitely not be black enough. Like going from personal experience, I grew up in like a predominantly white neighborhood, went to like a predominantly white school, and I was deemed as not black when I got to high school because of the things I liked or the things that I did or the way that I spoke. Like, especially the white people too, because I could speak very well. They're like, oh, you're not black. You're light skinned. You're not really that black. Like, you're like some kind of shit like that. Like, so that you definitely cannot be black enough, like in certain like in the white community and in the black community.
Do y'all think that there's a thing such as being too black?
I think when you think of like too much blackness, like that's when like at least when I hear that, I think like you're talking about like ratchetness, like you're wild and like,
exactly.
and I feel like I don't know. I'm still
I think
the
that's a
jury's
problem.
out in my own mind if that's a problem because at the end of the day, how can you tell someone like if that's how like when I grew up, a lot of that stuff felt normal to me. It wasn't until I got to college like it was a little face palmish, like a little embarrassing, but. Now I'm back tipping the scale the other way, like, who am I to say, like, that's too much? Like, if that's you, that's you. Mm-hmm. I'm still debating internally how I feel about that.
I think, like, you can be somewhat too black in certain settings. There's a time and place for like certain things.
I mean, it's like code switching though.
Yeah,
you switch up like depending on the environment. Like the way I talk with y'all, it might not be the way I talk to my parents. You know what I'm saying? Like I think that's just like.
And the way I talk with y'all is not how you're gonna talk in the interview. It's a skill. You gotta, as black people, you kind of gotta have that skill to turn it on, turn it off when you want to. Like you kind of have to have that charm. Like okay, business professional now. And then, you with the fam, you at the cookout, you at the whatever. Now we can black it up. Now we can be us. Mm-hmm. But is it a problem? You know, like obviously you have to put on a professional front. You have to be professional, but does that mean black is unprofessional? Like,
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
I think there's like a respectability politics when we like talk about like blackness, like because we'll talk about like black kids in college, like we doing like this, like we'll uplift all this, but like we not like talk about like black niggas like slinging dope and shit like that, like in the hood or like growing up in poverty, and like I think there's like that's just like the way they're raised. You know what I'm saying? I think they're black. They should be given the same opportunity and shit like that. But that's just like because of respectability politics, the way they speak, the way they're raised, the way they dress. Like I think there's like a love, like people like we lean towards that assimilation of white culture, and that our blackness has to be like kind of like whitewashed a little bit to be kind of proud of it. Like we got to be on white people's level to be to really, you know what I'm saying, like to really be accepted, to really be on some real shit.
How do you think the media plays a role in that?
the media won't show a certain level of blackness. You know, like the media expects us to keep it controlled. Like it's just now kind of becoming cool. Like 5 years ago, 10 years ago, maybe Migos style performers weren't performing at the Grammys or stuff like that. Like there was a certain rappers could get up there, but you had to be like Lupe Fiasco, Kendrick Lamar type rap. Like it's just now starting to be cool to like mumble rap era is just now being accepted in the media. Like now like blackness is just getting popular like that.
But I also believe that's just another thing. Like I don't think that's necessarily blackness being accepted. I think that's like when you come to like black people, like that whole conversation of white people loving black culture but not liking black people.
Yeah.
Like, because I feel like
no, it's always a thing. It's just
like,
different. It's just a different. Like in the '90s, it was a thing too. Like there was a certain level of blackness that was only accepted. It's just the new era of it. You know, it's just a different form now. This is the new look of it.
Do you think there's a way that we can combat these like negative connotations in the media?
By doing what we want. I don't think we should we should alter or tailor what we do or what we want to be to fit in the media. If the media doesn't want to show how we want to live or our blackness, then that's fine. We won't get that media coverage, but we're still going to be us.
Do you think that is also like highlighted in shows like Love and Hip Hop where it's almost seen as like too black and too ratchet?
Yeah, and then I think the problem is the problem with stuff like that is like people don't like it because we don't get a lot of representation. So it's like, come on, you want to show that? Like when we only get so much, when black people only get so much representation, the little bit we do get, it's very important, you know? So a lot of people are critical on stuff like that. Even though you could say, let them be black, a lot of people might feel like, you know, we only get so much, so we got to act right with the little bit of camera time we got.
So when taking a stand against certain social issues, do you feel that men and women have the same sort of political agendas?
If it's for the betterment of, like, our entire race as a whole, I don't think, like, men have to necessarily step up, or it doesn't have to necessarily be a woman. It could just be someone who's willing to just, like, step up, whether it's a man or a woman. Yeah, but, like, now in today's society, you see women actually taking a lot of, you know, leadership positions as far as, like, our marches and the, what are they called?
Protests?
Yeah, the protests that we are leading. So, you know, it shifted, like, from the 60s where you saw, like, all men leading, like, these riots and marches and stuff. And now you see, like, more and more women taking that leadership position. So
I think it comes with like recognizing like that intersection that like black women do exist, like that like women, like black women face both like oppression because they're black, but also oppression because they're women.
Yeah.
And like being able to recognize that allows like more conversation, more transitions, and like we're better together than we are separate. Like it's like you can't be like fighting for like talking about Black Lives Matter, but not fighting for black women. You know what I'm saying? Not fighting for like black trans people or like like layers and stuff like that.
Focusing on our community,
yes.
How do we effectively try to combat these systems that try to have black men fail, like the prison pipeline, mass incarceration?
We just gotta come up with a plan. Like I feel like there's so much problems going on like within the black community, but like what actions are we actually taking, and like what actions are actually gonna work. So like, are we like talking about like voter registration? Are we like registering Black people to vote? You know what I'm saying? Are we like doing like Are we like fighting voter suppression, like restricting Black people from voting? You know what I'm saying? Like what kind of work are we doing? Like systematic. Like I think systematic change is really what we're looking
need.
for.
Yeah.
In terms of instead of like this social internal kind of change. You know,
because
we're not gonna change
in itself
shit.
will also like
yeah.
bring upon changes there.